How did you first get involved in missionary work?
Well, through, hey, Veronica. Through my work with youth ministry.
Okay.
So I started doing mission trips even when, I'm a formerly in priestly ministry. I was a Franciscan friar and priest for 23 years. And so did a lot of work with young people, and we did mission trips, particularly to habitat kinds of things, or working with, among the poor in particular cities, or different places around the country. So that's how I first got involved.
Okay. So can you describe some of the work you do today? Or the work you used to do?
Well, one of the things I do is organize some of the mission trips, where we have young people, particularly with adults, going and doing service and work for the gospel, giving witness to Christ by both how they conduct themselves and what they do, and really doing a ministry of presence. Not even so much, and missionary work isn't so much about getting things accomplished as really encountering people and establishing relationships.
How do you believe this missionary work strengthens your faith?
My faith is strengthened because of your faith makes my faith better. So when I see young people reaching out and serving, it helps me to continue in that same attitude of service. When I encounter, whether it's the poor, the marginalized, people in need, whatever it is, their faith, their trust is something that spurs me on. What I've discovered in working with people, especially among the poor, is there's an attitude of gratefulness, of gratitude that belies what they have, and reminds me and some of the kids who are on these trips that we have so much, that we have a lot to be grateful for, and that it's really wonderful to see the faith and joy of people who have a whole lot less than we do.
In your own opinion, what do you think the main goals and tactics used by the early missionaries were?
I think the main goals were to introduce the people to Christ and the church. Sometimes the tactics were, for lack of a better term, ill-advised, because even when they were rejected or told to kind of, go somewhere else, they pressed the point to the point of putting themselves in danger. So they were very zealous, but at times I think not always completely respectful of other people's traditions and diversity, and therefore came across sometimes heavy-handed. And I think a lot of them paid the price, martyrs and all the rest of that. I think there's a different attitude and a recognition that persuasion and establishing relationships is first most important thing. And some of them did that. Some didn't always, and especially when we talk about in some places, that where missionaries and even members of the church bought into the whole enslavement of other people and kind of things like that, really created some problems.
Do you think that the missionary work today carries out the work that was started by early missions?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has, and I think it's done in a little different manner. But yeah, it's the same principle, to proclaim Christ to the world, to bring the gospel. And if you translate that or break that down, what that's about is preaching the good news, that God loves us unconditionally, that he calls us to be his people, that Jesus is the model for love and life, and that what we're really about is establishing a world of justice and peace, where everyone, man, woman, whatever group they're part of, is entitled to respect and dignity and to be valued and loved.
Do you encourage others to get involved in missions?
Absolutely. And I think it's the most transforming experience. And I believe that mission experiences for young people is the thing that most challenges them to really reflect on and learn about the faith.
And then do you have any advice for people interested?
Get involved. Don't take no for an answer. Find ways to be of service.
Thank you.